All right, welcome to the Amazon Experts podcast, where experts talk about Amazon. And today I have my friend, my buddy, Andrew, who we met 10 years ago, and he is a copywriting expert, and he happens to be a Klaviyo email marketing expert for ecom brands. And so I said, hey, let's do a mini webinar here. So I was just thinking, do you remember when we first met? I think it was CrossFit Chiang Mai, just
Mhm.
about 10 years ago. We met at CrossFit. And so, yeah, he's going to get into it. But yeah, I want to do a quick intro on you, background or whatever, so people can meet you real quick. And what do you do?
Awesome. Thanks for the intro. As Riley said, yeah, we met a while back and I actually did emails for his agency and then transitioned into this, which is a full service two-person freelancer team that helps e-commerce brands scale. And I think the first way to kind of kick this off is to introduce it. So what are we trying to do? Why are we even doing this? And we want to focus on Amazon first brands. So I know Riley and his followers mostly are concerned about Amazon. So I wanted to tailor this for Amazon because at the end of the day, what we don't want to do with our business, or at least in my opinion, is to build our entire business on rented property, so to speak. And Amazon is one platform. If it goes down, what's your next play? So I believe that email is the best way to sort of diversify your your business in terms of growing and to right now grow your customer lifetime value. So you can turn your one-time Amazon buyers into repeat customers.
Yep.
That's kind of the goal here.
Yep. Makes sense. Something every brand should be doing. I mean, I talk about this a little bit, in my content and stuff. I just basically say it's a no-brainer. If you don't have it set up, it's some of the lowest hanging fruit you can do is just set up your email list. You know,
Mm,
uh, if you don't have it, like that's some of the easiest ROI you can get. So, but anyways, I'm sure you're gonna get into all of it.
sure. So what is I like to call it the Amazon dilemma. So Amazon's great, don't get me wrong. I sold on Amazon also, believe it or not. And the reason I have this down here is a good segue into kind of a story, which is when I first started selling on Amazon, I picked a product to sell, which was like a beer growler. It's a stainless steel product. If you're going to the park, you can pour some beer into it. You can take it with you. When you get there, it's still going to be cold. One thing I found lacking with the purchasing experience is you get this bit of real estate to show off your product, which kind of limits you creatively and from a brand standpoint, right? If this is all you have, you don't really have the opportunity to express yourself or your personality of your brand and to build that equity. So while Amazon gives you the traffic and the sales, the missing part of this puzzle is kind of the relationships. So you get this one time sale, but there's no email, no segmentation, no way to
Yep.
follow up. So, and in the case of this, I was only selling one product, but this becomes really powerful when you offer more than one product. And if you're planning to expand those products, because at the end of the day, the the person who's most likely to buy your product or your second product or your range of products is someone who's bought one of them already. They've signaled they like what they see. They've put that intent down in the form of money. So what I like about email is with Amazon, you don't control the customer experience, personality, or brand voice, but with email, you do. So I've got these two kind of examples here, which are emails in the beer related space, because this will tie into something clever in a second. But with this one, you can see beer at lunch, no problem. Dreams do really come true. And they've got a little bit about their beer and a product photo, 25% off. So now you can see, you can kind of get more of the vibe of what this company is about, or who they're targeting, or what they're looking to do with their products, right? Whereas on a blank product photo, you can't. And I know Amazon's quite strict when it comes to product photography also. So this is kind of your playground when it comes to building a voice, building what you're about. And not only that, you can sell, you have opportunities to sell on special promotional events like Black Friday. You can give them a 15% off. You can show them your other products. And the clever thing I was talking about before is this opportunity to upsell and cross-sell. So let's say that you are a company that sells these beer growlers and you have complementary products like beer. Well, if they bought the beer growler, they're going to probably want some of your beer, right? So that's a natural, easy way to, off the back of one sale, make more sales. So that's what we're talking about in terms of customer lifetime value. And that runs deep. You can take that as far and wide as you want to when it comes to how many products you have, or the timing of when you put those products in front of people. And you can get really sophisticated with that stuff, but I don't want to overwhelm people too much. One thing that should be kind of stated is when it comes to data. So one interesting thing, this is kind of first party data that we've been collecting right now, is I think when Amazon brands, or what stops Amazon brands from starting, is they kind of assume that they're behind. They kind of assume that they are behind the curve when it comes to DTC brands, direct to customer brands who are primarily website focused, or website focused brands who their bread and butter is selling through paid traffic, selling through SEO, whatever the case may be. They kind of put themselves behind these bigger brands when it comes to, or mentally put themselves behind these bigger brands when it comes to email. And the point that I want to stress here, and what I want to say here, is believe it or not, you're not behind. Even some of these big brands who rely on sales and repeat sales and don't have Amazon to funnel visitors to them, and they're paying for traffic, still fumble the email bag. So I can show you this with one quick example. So right now, we are in the process to collect this data. We're in the process of signing up to e-commerce email lists. So I don't know, a lot of you have probably seen when you go to a website and scroll around, you'll get a pop-up which says save 50%, save 20% on your first purchase. And you can type your email in and get the code. So this is what's called a pop-up, as you probably know, and you submit your email to get this discount. You would be surprised and shocked at the number of brands who have this pop-up but don't deliver the email. So right here, if I make this bigger, you can see, wait, I'll make that bigger in a second.
Those are
But you
brands
can
that like
see that we
you
recently
opted in for the
signed up to
coupon and they're not even giving it to you.
341 DTC e-commerce brands who are actively running ads. So these are brands who have one or more ads on Facebook right now. And out of those 341, only 125 had their welcome email deliver after signing up. That's only 36%. And this is a core fundamental flow. So most brands, or a lot of brands, even if they're doing email, are not doing email well. And with what I'm going to show you in the next slide, if you just implement that, you'll be ahead of 80 to 90% of brands. And it's not that hard to get set up if you focus on keeping it simple and covering your bases with what is easy to, or with the things that are easy to cover. So first off, and I'll expand this for you so you can see this. But we have the ad link, so they've got ads. We signed up, when we signed up, and whether we received the welcome email. So we're checking this 24 hours later, and you can see received, yes, no, 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 yes, no, yes, yes, no, 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 no. So it's overwhelmingly in the no category. And so even if you have a welcome flow and make sure it delivers and make sure it's good, you're going to be ahead of 99% or 80 to 90% of businesses who are doing email badly. And as Riley said, if you can check out his video on product list insert strategy, because that's great. As you're selling products, I believe that's the best way to build or to start building your list is with a product insert, because these are buyers, and a buyer on your list is worth so much more than someone who's signing up to a freebie. So with these pop-ups, the value of a subscriber from a pop-up is far lower than the value of a subscriber you're going to get through an insert, because the person who signs up via an insert is already a customer. So even if you get 100, 200 from that, that's a great starting point. And again, if you connect that insert into a welcome flow, then you've got a chance to nurture that lead going, or nurture that customer going forward.
Yep. Yeah, I have a
And
whole
so, as I
video
said,
on
80,
inserts, and because Amazon has their own rules and then there's that's a whole strategy in itself, is an insert to get people to actually scan it and opt in. But yeah, I got a separate guide on that.
yeah, exactly. That's like a whole video in
Yeah,
itself,
the
right?
whole fucking class to itself.
And in terms of being ahead of 80 to 90% of brands, I think a lot of people overcomplicate it. They see these flows and they get confused and overwhelmed. And I just like to keep things simple. And what's the 20% of things that you can do that's going to deliver 80% of the result, the kind of Pareto principle. And if you want to focus on these core things, and you just want to say, okay, I'm an Amazon brand, I want to get email, I want the 20% of things I can set up quick that's going to get me 80% of the results, then what you need are 9 core flows. So a welcome flow, when someone signs up to your list, you welcome them to your list and say, here's who we are, this is what we do, here's a discount code, here's our social media channels, check out some content, whatever the case may be. Abandoned cart. So if someone adds your product to their cart and they click off that page, then you want to send them an email to nudge them across the line to get them to finish that purchase. Browse abandonment. If someone's browsing on your site and you cookie them, you can send them an email to say, hey, I saw you were browsing. Why don't you go buy some? Yeah, so post-purchase is this flow I'm going to run through in a second. Your win back is when you have a customer who hasn't purchased in a long time. It can also stand for when you have an email subscriber that hasn't opened or responded in a long time and you want to win them back. A repeat purchase is to encourage people who have bought once to buy again. And I'm not going to run through these in too much detail because they're kind of self-explanatory. If someone has a birthday, if you collect that information, you can send them a birthday email, and then back in stock email are great sales drivers, because when a product is back in stock, you just tell them it's back in stock and you can make money from that because people respond to things that are limited. So the reason I have these in gold here is if you just want to focus on the ones that are going to drive the most revenue and the most business impact, then I would place all of your effort here and actually in this order. So you don't necessarily have to worry which one do I create first, second, whatever. You just have it all here. And when you set it up in an email service provider like Klaviyo, you can automate what happens. So what I mean by a flow is this is not just one email this post-purchase isn't one email. It's a flow of emails that get triggered based on the activity of the person, and you can add delays in. So let's run through that in real time. So up here, the trigger, it starts when someone places an order. When they place an order, they'll say, hey, here's your order. Thanks for your order. And here's a special surprise. So that could be something like, and you get 25% off future another purchase if you redeem that within 30 days, for example, right? Then after that, it waits 1 day. And if they are receiving SMS, you can loop that in and you can say, hey, I want to send an SMS 1 day later that says, welcome to the organization, welcome to the family. We're going to be sending you texts about this product or future products related to this product, whatever the case may be. And if they're not receiving SMS texts, you can make them wait another 2 days and then place a timely email, which is save that 25% on your second order. So someone who's just placed an order is in buying mode. They've signaled that they are looking to buy products right now. And if you offer them one product here and they've taken that, they're very likely to offer or to take you up on something complimentary. That's why this is so powerful, because you're literally automating the back end of your business. So you're no longer relying on one listing, right? You're relying now on, or you've now built architecture and that operates behind the scenes to not only continue selling while you sleep, but to also do that selling in a way that is relevant. So someone who is taking an action, we can assume is more likely to take, or action X is more likely to take action Y. So you build that architecture within not just this post-purchase flow, but within all of these flows, have this level of thinking and strategy behind, okay, who are your people? What are they like? What are they likely to respond to? And how do we architect a flow around these people to maximize? And it's not all just about maximizing sales. It's about maximizing their experience with your brand and speaking to them and promoting to them in a way that is respectful of their time and respects that bond that you want to build with them over time. So once you have these core 5 to 9 flows, then as I said, I want to keep this simple for you. So the next step is to just make sure those emails land in the inbox. So we want to make sure that they land in the main inbox. There's no point having all of these emails if none of them are going to come through, right? So we want to focus on deliverability and landing in the main inbox, not promo or spam. So what I mean by promo is in a regular Gmail inbox which most people have a regular Gmail inbox at gmail.com. You'll have 3 tabs up the top. One's your main inbox, which is your primary. Then you'll have promotions next to that. Then you'll have social next to that. So most e-com brands will be landing in that promotional tab. And I don't know about you, but I hardly ever check that. So what you want to be doing is landing in primary. So if you land in primary, you're going to have overnight, your emails are going to be seen more. And then, as I said before, with your emails, you want to communicate your personality or brand personality and what makes you different. So once you set up this architecture, it's like, okay, you're not just a boring brand, you've got stuff going on. So what I say to founders is to just communicate whatever's happening in your brand at the time. Maybe you're sourcing a new product. Maybe you're developing a new product. Maybe you're doing a team event. Whatever the case may be, you can show that behind the scenes kind of look at your brand. And then it's like the content creates itself. You don't even necessarily have to effort to create that content because you're already in motion and you're doing things. So why not just show that to your customers and then you look real? It's not just like you're trying to promote stuff all the time, but you're building this nurturing this bond. The fourth thing you want to do is to track how well all of this stuff is working and look at the data and try to improve upon it every month. And tools like Klaviyo make that really easy because you can see all the relevant metrics. Then when you have this core base of doing things, then you can sprinkle promotions on top, your Black Friday, your Christmas, your New Year's, and all of these things that brands like to do. The
Mother's Day,
mistake I see a
Father's
lot
Day.
of people do. Say that again, sorry.
Mother's Day, Father's Day. They say there's like one holiday every month that you can do, you know. Halloween,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, Mother's Day,
Holiday.
Father's Day, Juneteenth, but there's none in August. August is the famous
Yeah.
month. No holidays.
Vacations. Yeah.
Make something
Yeah,
fun.
exactly. So one a month or however many are relevant to your list. If you're a rings company, you're probably going to want to focus heavily on Valentine's Day. If you're a boxer shorts company, you're going to want to focus a lot more on Father's Day and so on and so forth. Once you've built that foundation, then you can sprinkle the promotions over the top of that. What happens when you do that? Well, here's a couple of different results. So $10,343 from a list of only 453 people in 24 hours. That was from a promotional email series. And you can kind of see that once you've built the respect in this part, then you do a promotion. And even from a small list, which a lot of you who are Amazon focused will have, you can still generate results from that. And a different client grows, they're able to consistently close $50,000 packages every month. So the sky's the limit with this stuff, right? The bigger your customer list, the better you're going to do. And the more engaged that list is, the better you're going to do. So there's a number of variables, but what I'm trying to outline here is that to get things rolling. And then a common question we get is design important? And I believe that design is very important when it comes to email marketing, because a consistent image and a consistent premium feel to your messaging just makes it land a bit harder. And when you really focus on the key design principles, for example, the lines your eyes follow, and there's many more. I won't go into huge detail here, but you're going to increase your clicks to the page. And when they land on the page that they see, or a landing page where a conversion can happen, they're more likely to buy that product. And so what we want to do is architect these emails in a way that shows off your brand, but also encourages them to take an action, as it's commonly called, call to action. And we want to engineer each email in a way that best serves the purpose for what we're trying to do. So so this is a little mini go here. And you can see, like, we've got promotional emails. If you want to launch a new product, you want to show how it works, what's different, social proof, testimonials. If you have an abandoned cart, we like to be a bit clever with this. So this is a skincare product. We did a mock email for it. It says your skin had plans for that hydration. Now it's side-eyeing you from the checkout page. Supplement. If you have if it's back in stock, which typically happens a lot with supplements, you just tell them it's back in stock and tell them, rehash the benefits of it, show them the ingredients, and encourage them to take that next action. If you're not able to do really well designed or designed emails, plain text to start is great. And then you build from there. So I'm a big fan of just iterating 1% improvements over time. It doesn't need to be perfect right out the gate. Just get it up and then consistently improve over time. And to wrap up, right now, if you want us to create that welcome flow for you, as we said before, we're a 2-person Klaviyo duo, not a flaky freelance or a bloated agency. And you can check us out here. got the differences. I handle copy, strategy, and Zuzi handles UX, branding, and design. And we like to create emails that feel human and build this bond, as well as sell on autopilot, because at the end of the day, we're in this to make money. And Welcome Series is designed to build trust, communicate your personality so they open more in the future, drive purchases. And we also want to ensure that when we set these email series up, they're set up with strategy in mind, fresh design, sharp copy, and they land in the inbox crucially and convert. So if you're interested, you can book a call here. And that's usually 2K, but for right now, we're doing them at a slight discount.
Not too bad. Awesome. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Great. Awesome. So can you tell people your website for people that are maybe listening, or go back to what's the URL for your website?
Yeah, so the website is dogsofcommerce.com.
Dogs of Commerce. How'd you come up with that name?
It's my girlfriend's brainchild.
Hey, okay. So she's a good copywriter as well. Well, she's a creative brand. You guys are both creative brands, as am I.
Go.
Dope. Okay, this is really good because normally what I tell brands is like, yeah, the 80/20 is set up your once a month holiday email, like that one holiday every month, Father's Day, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, et cetera, et cetera. But totally neglecting totally neglecting the foundation. But totally makes sense. You don't want to be just that brand that's just like promote. If you want to be a serious $1 million brand, you got to do all those foundational principles. So that's awesome.
No, exactly. It's kind of like flipping the pyramid on its head, right? Because think about it this way: if you've never heard from a brand and then all of a sudden you get a holiday email, I'm not saying it won't convert. You'll get sales off it, but if it's not going to convert as well as it probably would if they've been opening your emails, they've built that bond, and they're now expecting something to come on Valentine's Day, for example. So it's kind of like when you have a Marvel movie or a movie in general, and upcoming to that release, you'll see trailers, you'll see little snippets of the thing. So when it drops, you're more likely to be like, oh, right, I've been waiting for this. The anticipation is built, and then you jump on it. So what email allows you to do is kind of build that anticipation and like build a trailer for your eventual drops, whether that is a holiday promotion, whether that is whatever you got going on. Brands have a lot of stuff going on, and I always encourage them to try creative things that people aren't doing, which I think is underrated, really.
Yep. It's a question I've got. Some people out there are wondering, what's Klaviyo? And if they don't have an email software, do they need to have Klaviyo? Is it a must? Yeah. What do you say?
So Klaviyo is an email service provider. And basically, put simply, there's tons of these out there. There's ActiveCampaign, there's Klaviyo, there's Built to Send, there's ConvertKit, there's all these different
MailChimp.
softwares where you build an email list and you can mass send emails to that list. Klaviyo is the one that is best suited for e-commerce brands, because the reason I like it the most is because you can literally see which emails are attributable for how much revenue. So in the dashboard view, you'll be able to see, okay, this email, this campaign delivered X value in carts. And that's really good knowledge to have, because then when it comes to this part, which is tracking how well it's working and improve it every month, that's key data that you're going to then feed back into your system to improve upon, because if you can't see that, you're not going to know what to improve. And in terms of whether brands should just get this one, I think so, because Klaviyo up to 250 subscribers is free. And once you've got to, and especially for Amazon brands, if they've got 250 people on their list who are customers, then the cost of the platform, it will pay for itself for sure at that point, because a 250-person list of customers, if you're doing the things, the
And you're
80
doing it
20
right.
in this, yeah, it's like it will work.
Yep. All right. Andrew, want to recap and take us home?
Yeah. So if we were to talk about the 80-20, it's first off, don't assume mindset wise that you're behind these big brands that you think are doing email well, because they're probably not. And even a small list can deliver big results. So if you take it seriously from the start, you're going to be in a good spot, especially if you focus on the 5 main flows I spoke about, making sure they deliver and then communicating your personality while tracking how things are doing. If you do that, you're going to be in a good spot. And then everything from there is just 1% improvements. You're not going to be doing email the best overnight, but if we make these incremental improvements, then over time, you're going to be headed in the right direction.
Makes sense. So you have this offer, which you talked about, which is setting up the foundation. Do you also offer like ongoing management and testing, or what do people do for that?
Yeah, exactly. So on retainer, we bring brands on retainer after the intro offer.
Mm.
So for right now, we like to do the welcome flow as a test project, because we want to see if you like working with us and we like working with you. And it's just a great entry point because it's a high value deliverable. And then if we check those boxes, we are also build these 9 flows and manage the whole process in terms of creating all of the email, or strategizing first on what the emails are going to be, creating them all, strategy, copy, design, and then implementing it in Klaviyo, seeing how they perform, and then optimizing them every month while also creating these new emails that go out to your list to nurture them forever.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, the setup is the first step, and then from there, you got to A/B test. As I like to say, test, 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 keep what's best, and that's probably probably a year process, maybe even 2 to dial in. All right, for this holiday, like we're A/B testing this, and then test everything for a whole year on A/B test, and then probably do it again the second year, test the winner versus a new thing, and then like the year 3, all right, we know what makes the most money, what's the most effective, and then from year 3 on, now you have a machine running automated, making you pass code.
No, exactly. That's the key takeaway.
Yep.
It's like you can always make it better, but if you can't make it better if you don't start, right? So like the hardest thing for most is just to start, get something up,
Yeah.
and that's not the end state. That's the beginning to which you then continue improving over time. And it's almost like it's a craft. You're never going to perfect it. You're going to get better and better at it, but there's always work to do. There's always stuff to make better. But the great thing is with email along the way, as you're getting better, you're also making money. So you're not waiting for that payoff 6 months,
Yeah.
12 months down the line. The feedback is quite immediate.
Yep. So get your MVP, minimum viable product up ASAP, even if it's plain text and you do it yourself after this podcast. Um, then next step would be to hire an expert to make it good, like Andrew's welcome offer. And then it's managing and testing and optimizing for to make your 12-month flow the most powerful money making machine that you can make it. And awesomest machine.
Yeah, that's a good
That's
summary.
it. Awesome. Cool. Well, Andrew, thanks for dropping the knowledge. And yeah, people can reach out, link in the description and all that to check out your website and reach out. And if people want to keep learning, check out my insert card video on YouTube to learn about insert card strategy. All right.